I'm not a white nationalist. I'm not a fascist. I'm not a racist. I'm not a misogynist.
So you say you're not fascist.
Mm-hmm.
It's giving a little fascist
not
to
a
me.
misogynist, but I want to take away women.
Make
right?
women second-class citizens. Hey guys, welcome back to another Normal Gays video where we take on LGBT insanity. I'm here with Clarkson Lawson. I'm Brad Polumbo. Clarkson, we're big fans of Christian nationalism at the highest levels of the federal government.
Huge fan. I would love to live in a theocracy.
You know, whenever I look over at the Middle East, I'm like, yeah, we should be more like that. And
yeah.
Now, again, like, this is no shade to Christians. There's a big difference between being a Christian and wanting to enforce it on all of society through the government, which is the nationalism part of that. But there's this story we have to talk about because it involves being gay being made illegal again. Yeah, seriously, that is not an exaggeration. And it's a church, apparently, that Defense Secretary Pete Hegseth is a proud member and supporter of a church that was just profiled by CNN. And they have some pretty radical views, not just religious views, political views. They want to impose on everyone else. We're going to watch some interesting clips of that.
A patriarchal society where men are dominant and women are expected to submit to their husbands.
Women are the kind of people that people come out of.
So you just think they're meant to have babies. That's it. They're just a vessel.
No, it doesn't take any talent to simply reproduce biologically. The wife and mother, who is the chief executive of the home, is entrusted with 3 or 4 or 5 eternal souls.
I'm here as a working journalist, and I'm a mom of 3.
Good for you.
Is that an issue for you?
No, it's not automatically an issue.
Josh and Amy Prince, along with their 4 kids, moved here from Washington State.
Do you see Amy as your equal?
Yes and no. In the sense that we're both saved by grace, we're absolutely on equal footing. But we have very different purposes, God-given.
But do you see yourself as the head of the household, as the man?
He is the head of our household.
Yes.
Yes, and I do submit to him.
So like moving here
I was just
was
gonna say that.
ultimately your decision.
Yes.
That's a great
example.
Wilson says in his vision of a Christian society, women as individuals shouldn't be able to vote. His fellow pastors, Jared Longshore and Toby Sumter, agree.
In my ideal society, we would vote as households. And I would ordinarily be the one that would cast the vote, but I would cast the vote having discussed it with my household.
But what if there's your wife doesn't want to vote for the same person as you?
Right. Well, then that's a great opportunity for a good discussion.
There are some who have gone so far as to say that they want the 19th Amendment repealed.
I would support that. And I'd support it on the basis that the atomization that comes with our current system is not good for humans.
So Defense Secretary Pete Hegseth, who's one of the highest ranking officials in the federal government, shared what we just watched and wrote, "All of Christ for all of life," because he is a member of this church and that is one of their slogans. So he basically shared the clip and said, like, I support this. That's fucking insane. This is insane. And it's not their religious beliefs. If they want to believe that women should submit to men in their marriage, whatever floats your boat. But when you start talking about stripping people's rights away and treating people as second-class citizens in our government and our political system, that is no longer your personal religious belief, and that is now an extremist political worldview that violates people's rights, and we have every right to call that out. And I think it is very concerning that such an extremist is so high up in the Trump administration.
I also think they should be taxed if they're going to be political activists.
Yeah, fair point, right? If you want to be Christian nationalists and do Christian politics, maybe that tax-exempt status should
be stripped. And that's what's going to happen. And I don't think people realize this, especially a lot of Christians, is that the more these people get airtime, the harder the left is going to rail against religion when inevitably things start to shift again and the left is in power. So I'd be very careful if you are a Christian who starts to buy into these ideas, because they could backfire.
And it's like, why are your religious beliefs so amazing that you can only convince other people to follow them by force? Really interesting, huh? You have to use the government, which is a blunt instrument of force and violence. to deprive other people of rights and make them live in accordance with your religious beliefs.
Actually antithetical to Christianity itself.
Interesting.
Because, I mean, that's not what Jesus was teaching. It was
Right.
the opposite of that.
He was convincing
He was
people,
convincing people using the power of essentially persuasion to have them buy into his ideas. But Christians can't do that because they aren't good messengers of their
At least
their
these
word.
ones
At
aren't.
least these ones aren't. But I think this is a sign of people who are of an uneducated population. And I know that sounds really bad. I'm not saying Christians aren't educated, but I think radical religious extremists, they tend to latch on to the very 1 + 1 = 2 social norms. Like women do this, men do this, because it gives them a sense of order, because understanding the world without those gender norms is very hard for them.
Yeah, this idea that you can blame social atomization on women having the right to vote is very strange to me.
Yeah, and it doesn't make any sense, really, but...
And, I mean, you just fundamentally don't believe in equal rights. Like, tell me you just don't believe in our Constitution, what it very explicitly says. It's weird to me that this could be considered conservative or, like, traditionalist or anything, because it's literally anti our Constitution, which was explicitly, our founders did not want a state religion. And these people are like, yes, we want an established state religion imposed on everyone.
Well, they use the excuse like a lot of our founders were Christians. And it's like, yeah, we're not saying Christianity doesn't have good ideas about individual autonomy and that the Constitution isn't based on some of those ideas. What we're saying is the government still, while it can take ideas from religion, cannot establish a religion and enforce it.
Yeah. And that's the thing. If what they were saying is that our religious belief is that women should submit to men and we believe in these traditional gender roles, we wouldn't be talking about it if that was their church's belief that they advocated that people join their church and start doing. When you start talking about using the government to force your religion onto people, make some people second-class citizens in our country because of their biology, that's authoritarian, that's tyrannical, and that's something that you can't hide behind. That's just my religion, or why are you criticizing their religion? Because it's no longer a religion. That's a political system. And so, of course, it's up for debate. And actually, I mean, that part is the worst part, I think. But this next part is where apparently Pete Hegseth thinks it should be illegal to be gay in America in 2025, which is a crazy thought. But here's the clip from the CNN segment that he praised. And he's a member of this church and supports their leadership. Here's this next clip.
What he also wants gone, same-sex marriage, because he thinks homosexuality is a crime.
In the late 70s and early 80s, sodomy was a felony in all 50 states. That America of that day was not a totalitarian hellhole.
So you would like America to go back to that?
Yep.
Wilson maintains his ultimate goal is to bring about the second coming of Christ through his work, and rejects critics' claims he's trying to make the dystopian world of The Handmaid's Tale a reality.
I'm not a white nationalist. I'm not a fascist. I'm not a racist. I'm not a misogynist.
So you say you're not fascist.
Mm-hmm.
It's giving a little fascist
not
to
a
me.
misogynist, but I want to take away women.
Make women second-class citizens. Notice how he didn't say I'm not homophobic.
Yeah, no.
Kudos.
Honestly, what about divorce? What about cheating on your spouse, Pete Hegseth?
Oh, tea, shade. Yeah, that is interesting. I will say this. The idea that America in the 70s and 80s, it wasn't an authoritarian hellhole and we had anti-gay laws. First of all, those laws were not enforced a lot.
Yeah.
So it's a little misleading to claim that it was like illegal to be gay in America in the 70s and 80s. It's more nuanced than that. Secondly, I think you could say that for gay people, it was.
Yeah.
And it was. So I agree that just one policy affecting one minority group does not transform your whole country into an authoritarian hellhole. However, for the people that actually were subjugated under that regime,
it was an authoritarian.
That is, yes. What are you talking about? It absolutely was. And that's not an argument. Just to say, well, it used to be like this. We also used to have slavery.
Yeah.
Like,
I mean, also just think about like what it takes to believe that you want law enforcement to go into people's bedrooms and you want to waste public resources to make sure that nobody's having gay sex. That is a level of like, I don't even know what is going on psychologically to care that much.
It's extremely weird.
It's giving gay.
It's giving repression. I mean,
there's studies to prove it. Most men who are homophobic do get hard at gay porn in the study. So
well, I'm sure he also wants to outlaw that.
Yeah.
I will just say this. I think it is absolutely fair game to demand to know what Pete Hegseth believes and doesn't believe. And if he is signaling support for these extreme theocratic, authoritarian, bigoted views, he has no place in our government. He should not be the defense secretary of the United States.
He's had no place since he created those signal checks.
Oh, yeah. Well, that's a whole nother story. I don't think he's the brightest bulb in the world, but
that's why he attaches to radical religious fundamentalism.
I don't know. What do you guys think? Have you heard of this church or this strain of thought? Let us know in the comments. Make sure you're subscribed to Normal Gays channel on the come up. Let us know in the comments. Hit that like button, yada, yada, yada. Check out Clarkson's channel. Subscribe to his channel. Linked in the description. What the fuck? Maybe don't. He's kind of weird. And we will talk again real soon.